For more on the global fight against COVID, I'd like to bring in Dr. Jerome Kim. He's the Director General of the International Vaccine Institute and joins us now from Seoul, South Korea. Thank you very much for joining us, Doctor. We just heard a stark assessment of the global failures on the COVID response, plenty of blame to go around. As someone who's been involved in the battle against this disease from the beginning, what was the most critical failure for you?
You know, I think that we have to stop pointing fingers. What we need to do is figure out what we did wrong. We're still doing some of them wrong. We need to fix them. We need to come up with solutions so that we don't do this again. Because, you know, we will see pandemic after pandemic. Our response to them needs to be clearer and stronger and more unified. All the things that your report pointed out. Individually, it's difficult. It's easier in retrospect to be critical than it is to do the right things when something is happening. Countries need to have pandemic preparedness plans. The international system needs to have a trigger mechanism that will bring the right people to bear on a problem or question rapidly, efficiently, and be able to make a decision quickly.
A lot of those things obviously didn't happen. The good news from a global point of view, the U.S. is no longer pulling out of the WHO, and it's joining COVAX to share vaccines with developing countries. So the U.S. rejoining the global community in this fight, how important is that, and what effect could that have?
The U.S. rejoining the World Health Organization during a pandemic, the U.S. joining COVAX, to help with the distribution of vaccines around the world is a very, very important step. The United States has an opportunity to show global leadership. The appointment of Dr. Fauci as the representative, I think, is another very important sign that the United States is planning to lead with science and can provide the kind of leadership around COVID vaccination that it did around COVID vaccine development. So again, I'm very hopeful that this is a sign that the United States is now stepping up and really helping to bear responsibility for what is going to be a global fight against COVID-19.
Part of that global fight is against these new variants that are popping up in different countries. There's preliminary evidence suggesting the vaccine might be less effective against the South African variant, for instance, and we're seeing just how fast these new variants are spreading. There's a projection that the UK variant could be the dominant one in the US by March, so that doesn't give us a lot of time to get people vaccinated. So how worried should we be that the spread of these variants will outpace our vaccination efforts?
We have to be very concerned, and we have to be concerned at multiple levels. You know, we wanted to have a lot more people vaccinated, for instance, in the United States and in Europe that have been vaccinated. As with many things, preparation, planning, institution of a nationwide program for vaccination, these are all things that need to be done not only in the United States, but in countries around the world. It's going to be difficult to prevent the spread of new mutants. It's going to be difficult to get a hold over the pandemic if we don't start officially vaccinating. So remember that, you know, these mutations, these changes in the virus occur as the virus is growing and spreading. Effective vaccination, the use of masks, social distancing, and avoiding crowds are all ways that we're going to contain the virus and keep it from mutating. So get vaccinated. Wear your mask, keep a distance, avoid crowds. These things are going to apply. It's going to be very important. I mean, the pandemic has already taken out, you know, over $20 trillion from the global economy. If we want this to be fixed, if we want to go back to a life somewhat close to what we had before, then people around the world are going to have to help and cooperate. I mean, we're all in this together. Vaccination, masks, distance, all very important parts for everyone.
A perfect message to end on. Thank you very much for joining us, International Vaccine Institute Director General Dr. Jerome Kim. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.